the reason I do what I do, or I have my practice, and I sort of I get up every day and push to sort of create opportunities for my staff and those who work at the firm, and a better experience for my clients or customers. Is sort of its ability to look at my peers, and when I say my peers, I mean those within the profession, who are my age, whether they're Australian, or whether they're Anglo, or from other background, its ability to sort of look at them, and say, well, if they can do it, so can I,
You came to Adelaide when you were 13 years old.
I went back at age of 25.
Age of 20. Damn. So how was that? Like, obviously seeing your mum and dad after so long, because that would have just been a very, the separation wouldn't have been like you were a child. You probably didn't fully understand what was kind of going on. How was that like?
It was a trip like back with a purpose, because I wanted it just wasn't to see just my parents, sort of reunite after 12 years, and just really sort of get to reconnect with them, It was also, I sort of wanted to see the sort of disadvantages they had, the sort of suffering they had, and how I can use that, as a drive, in terms of when I did come back to Australia.
You find determination.
And push, for my work and what I did for work, at those moments, where I don't want to wake up or I'm too tired, it's sort of an opportunity, to have something I could sort of reflect on and look back and say, well, I was back home in December 2016. And if I fall or if I give in, then who's sort of who's going to be there to sort of pick up the pieces, because I'm here, with an opportunity, to sort of to create something where they they've got no control, it was sort of it's, I mean, the poverty's so bad, you sort of to them it's sort of become normal, but I needed to see that. So
you needed to see that,
I'd say, if on a Monday morning or Tuesday morning, and sort of I felt like I didn't want to go to work, I wanted somebody to kick me.
They kick you, and just seeing the condition that your parents were in would have given you that drive, like literally every day.
Yeah, man. I mean, they're the mud-ass, man.
No, I know, but it's just, but what I'm saying is that it's amazing that you were thinking like that, because some people will just go back, say hi to their mum and dad, maybe just kick it there for a while, eat food or whatever, because obviously now, they're getting catered to or whatever, and then come back to Australia without that determination. But you looked at it as a moment to be able to go back, see the environment that your parents in, but then also use that as fuel for you to come back to Australia and then take off.
Well, look, go back 13 years, when we left the camp, we left the camp so you can come here for a better life, and to get an indication, and I'd acquired that, But no, I needed to turn that education, I needed to earn money, I needed to use those tools, those skill set, to make a living, and I didn't, I've had the drive, I had a driving factor, to sort of to push me through uni and get through all of that, but I needed something to sort of to get me through my career.
Got you.
And really get me to be the best version, or the sort of best lawyer I can be. And I needed to go back home, and get a moment to sort of reflect, to really see, how sort of like my neck phase, how that sort of how that experience can sort of influence that,
got you.
And man, and soon I got back from South Sudan, it was all into gear from there, and
so that would have just given you the fuel, everything that you needed. So let's get into all this stuff, because a lot of people, they're going to watch this episode and wonder, why. To me, you're one of the biggest inspirations. I always tell you, man, because every time I call you or we have a conversation, it's always like, Fab, just keep doing your thing. There's always that there's always that push, and sometimes you need people in your life like that. You know, it's not always like not everything's a joke in life, like, because at the end of the day, when all these cameras go off and the reality kicks in, like some of us are going to work tomorrow, there's always things that like are real life, you know what I mean? And that's why I always say that, you know, you are who you surround yourself with, because like it's very important. In order for you to elevate, you always need to be around people that have that mindset. I always say that, and we say that all the time. We always have this type of conversation. So going into, obviously, you using that fuel from your trip back home to then coming here, and then now, you know, you are where you are today, where you own a law firm, which we're going to get into. But what got you into first law? Like, what sparked you to be like, look, I need to be a lawyer? Was it something back home? Did your parents say, or is this just one moment that made you think, oh, I need to become a lawyer? What was that moment?
Well, in fact, after I finished school, I went to the year of mechanical engineering before I transferred across to law and commerce.
Yeah.
And I'd done engineering because Abraham, who'd sponsored us here, like he was an engineering student, and he was someone I sort of looked up to.
Yeah.
And I wanted to forge the same path he did. But as I got older, I was sort of halfway through my engineering degree. I got to hear stories about the work Dad did in the camp. And he acted sort of like how back home or in the camp, or living in the camp, if there's a tribal dispute or dispute within the tribes, within family members or members of that clan, you have elders who sort of preside over that dispute,
Gotcha,
and then they can settle matters, and also when there's dispute, with other tribes, again, you have like elders, who sort of act as advocate or his counsel, and Dad is one of those blokes, and he was sort of like counsel for our tribe, and Alan Cheap and all the young men or members of our community who'd come to Australia or come to Adelaide with us, spoke very highly of him. They spoke, they admired him. He's someone, he had a lot of integrity, and whenever he had disputes, he always did it right. I think he was fair, So I said to myself, if I went in my father's trade, because he wasn't a trained lawyer, it was all sort of traditional sort of customary laws,
Yeah.
So I said, if I've got any of his sort of trades, then I've got to go to law school, I've got to be a lawyer,
That's mad, man,
because now I'll have the Western tool, like a Western legal education.
Yep.
And I could use that, with his trade, his natural ability, to have an impact, and to make a difference in our community. And as soon as I got into law school in 2010, I've always had this vision, of having a firm, to use my skill set, to be able to replicate what my dad did in the camp and was doing back home, but be able to do it here, and that's sort of where the firm sort of came from, and that's what I've worked towards too, since first year law school, and then towards like end of 2016, when there was a lot of negative media about like South Sudanese gangs and African youth, I saw an opportunity, because I'd sort of, like one of my strengths, one of my biggest skill set, is sort of networking, And I was very networking, I was coming to Melbourne in 2014, 2015, and I knew there weren't any South Sudanese or young, African lawyers or lawyers of African appearance or person of colour, who are around the trenches, who are around the courts, around the traps, acting, for young people, of our community, or who were criminal defence lawyers, who could be seen, who are visible sort of court users or participants, who reflected, who looked like young, who looked South Sudanese, So it's not like you go to court, and all you see, and the only South Sudanese people you see in court, or the accused person, but you actually, you can see South Sudanese people in court who are acting as his representatives, his lawyers, And I wanted members of our community or young people from our community, I want them to see, when they went to court, they could see another brother like them.
You're representing them.
As a lawyer, even if I wasn't acting for them, I could be acting, for any other member of the community.
Got you. Yep.
But they could see a brother, advocating for others, They could be like, well, if Daniel, he's one of us, and also, so the profession itself, like, the court staff, the prosecution, other defense practitioners,
so
the judiciary.
So you would have seen it like, and sorry to cut you off, but you would have seen it like, if there's this bad media around, let's say, the South Sudanese community, but then they also see from their lens too that there's somebody that is a lawyer or somebody that, like, it's almost like it's almost like everybody that is looking at this person that is in court for the wrong reasons can also see a reflection of what could be,
100%.
So it's almost like, look, we're not just this, right? Like there's people in there that are also lawyers and all that. So don't just assume that everybody that's South Sudanese is doing something bad. Like, so, and look, I think that's just, we're not obviously just talking South Sudanese, but I think that's across the board. Like they see, because according to the way people view us is basically, they would see one African and they would connect that one African to all Africans. That's just the way it is in the society that we live in. And I'm not just saying this, obviously it's far from what we're talking about, but at the same time, it is a sense of reality, because during those times when people were going through all these things, right, they would always connect us to being just Africans in general. So I get what you're saying, that it's just beautiful that you went to court. You also showed the people in that community, the people that are looking at this South Sudanese boy, like, look, you're almost like a criminal, but at the same time too, it's like you can see a South Sudanese person actually in a good position. So that way it's almost like, don't just judge a book by its cover kind of thing. So that's awesome. Now, and like, I guess after you telling us a story about your dad being someone that was very in the community, a negotiator at a very high level, and then you also wanted to take those traits and bring it into the Western society and do whatever. Like, so what was the process in you actually studying law? How was that, man? Like, was it, because I'm assuming like you would have read a lot of books just from what you see in movies. What was that process like for people that are actually wanting to become lawyers and go down your path?
Sacrifice, man. You got to make sacrifices. You've got to be prepared. Some weekends, you're just gonna have to like sort of lock yourself in, and be prepared to do your readings, because if the readings can take 2 to 3 hours, they can take 6 hours, and I just had to give up certain things, So you got to give up certain privileges, to be able to get through your law degree, And even once you become a lawyer, there's just sort of certain things, people take for granted, You just might be prepared, to sort of give in, Like if you wanna, I mean, it sort of depends what sort of goals you've set, But the goals I'd set, man, throughout uni, I had to, I had to work hard, and it's like you're learning a foreign language, So it's
that's even harder.
And it's. Unlike say when me and you have kids, our kids are gonna have access to us, But me and you've never had that, because it's not like our parents went to universities, Or we've got uncles who are lawyers or doctors, People you can sort of turn to, to have a look at your assignment, or just to give you advice, on what sort of stuff you can take, So it's sort of all done solo, and you had to find your own sort of will or sort of drive within, to really push through, and if you're man, like, oh boys, like this weekend, it's
can't
not
go out.
I'm just gonna pull an all-nighter and sort of work on my assignment. I'll get through my readings. You just had to take that step, and that's sort of how I approach my whole sort of university years. Really, sort of putting that first, and not,
and not going out and all these type of things. So you put your education and your knowledge and everything that all the tools that you needed to learn to become a lawyer, you put that first.
And just like, and I think you've got to really, and this would be for those sort of young person, who's sort of starting the university degrees or sort of early on, in their courses, and have dreams, to sort of have your own, whether it's in finance, law, medicine,
doesn't matter what it is,
public or private sector, if you've got sort of if you've got ambitions, to be a CEO, or sort of run your own show one day, or be in some sort of leadership role, you've really sort of, it starts early on from uni, like those work ethics,
Those work ethics, it starts from when you're younger. You can't start all that like grinding and you trying to figure out like, the determination, that stuff has to come from when you start off, like as a young age. Like it's not, and I'm not saying that it could never happen for you later on in life, but it just makes it easier when you've started that behavior from a younger age and you continue that throughout your whole life. So let's talk about, like, obviously you're the director of Ajak and Associates. You started that company, by yourself, with all the determination that you had throughout your whole school. And you said that, from the beginning of when your dad was negotiating in the tribes, you said to yourself one day that you wanted to own a law firm. Please walk me through, because I think we need to take a moment for that, because for you to be able to come from where you come from, and we're all African here, it takes a different type of mindset for you to learn a different language, come to Australia, do all these things, but yet to then own a law firm in this country. That just takes a whole nother mentality and a whole nother mindset for you to be able to do that. So just walk us through, like, what were the steps in order for you to actually set up a law firm in this country? Like, where did it start from, man? Like, did you register at ABN? Like, just tell us the steps, man. How did you get to where you got to today?
Well, I think you sort of first you got to see an opportunity.
Yeah.
Or first year law school. I knew with the first wave, me and a couple of other lawyers, a couple of other students of South Sudanese Africans, or I knew we were the first bachelor lawyers to come through, So I knew there was a market, because with the first people, like at the top of the line, to sort of to use our skill set, to really to create opportunities, and I saw an opportunity or market, where. Say for example, when there was that whole sort of like media attention in Victoria. I said, well, there's an opportunity for me to use my skill set, and really, give back to the community. But I said to myself, if I learn the tools right, with the right work ethic, in 5 years' time, I want to be in a position to either set up my own firm, or go to the, or be in a position to go to the bar and have a successful practice at the bar, and go on to become and push for judicial appointment in the future, but the path of having a firm was much more attractive, because if you've got a firm, and then people can access you, where if you're at the bar, then you got to rely on solicitors giving you work.
Oh, okay.
So the strategy was, come to Melbourne, and I got a job at Papa Hughes Lawyers in the city in Queen Street. I learned the trade there for a year and a half. But I knew Legal Aid, was sort of, they're the biggest sort of firm or criminal law firm in the state, because they serve the wider community, and the most vulnerable, and those are members of our community. So I needed to be at Legal Aid, to understand how Legal Aid works, before I could set up, my own practice, because that's where all the work sort of comes from. So after a year and a couple of months at Papa Hughes, I went to the Legal Aid, with me having set a timeline, I'll stay there 2 to 3 years max. But I've got to go.
Okay.
If at 2 years mark I'm ready, I'll start the firm. If I'm not, I'll wait another year.
So what was the step in order for you starting a firm? So obviously you finished up at where you were. You said 2 to 3 years or whatever max, 1 to 3 years the max. So what was the initial first step? So did you go look for commercial properties that you're going to go and lease out. What was it like in terms of you actually starting your business, like on your own? Because I'm assuming the first day would have been very hard. Like you're in a brand new office, you're used to working for a company, now you have to figure out how to get staff, how to do this, how to do that. So how was that first day like?
So once you escape, I mean, I didn't really like sort of, it was all sort of mapped out, there was never really sort of anything sort of put in writing or like a business plan.
Got you.
But the first sort of step you had to do as a solicitor, or as a lawyer, if you've got to practice for 2 years, restricted, and then like with supervision, and once you've done those 2 years, you can apply for the supervision to be lifted.
Okay.
And then once your supervision is lifted, it means you've got an unrestricted practice certificate. So if you don't have to be supervised. So if you want to have your own practice, you could do that immediately straight away.
Beautiful.
So I mean, that was the sort of first hurdle. But by the time I was at Legal Aid, I was already sort of 3 years in, as a solicitor. So over the next 2 years at Legal Aid, because 80% of the work I did, or when I was at Legal Aid, I was a criminal defence lawyer, and if I was and the plan was to have a practice which sort of lower general practice, 80%, 90% of the work is going to be in criminal defence.
Okay,
and to do legal aid work, you need to be on the legal aid summary crime panel to be able to do the summary crime work, which is mainly work in the magistrate courts and in the children's court, and then to be able to do indictable work, you also need to be on the legal aid panel, which is work that starts up in the magistrate courts and then ends up in the county court and the Supreme Court, sort of work in the higher court. So I needed to be at Legal Aid, and what I did while I was at Legal Aid, to sort of work towards, and it's actually funny because the whole idea of the firm, started with a couple of friends at uni, and in 2017, I think it would have been in 2014, in our last year of like law school, I'd set a timetable and I had sent them a calendar invite, to kick off the firm in February 2020.
Damn.
And I started the firm in April 2020, so it was only a couple of months.
It was only a couple of months off,
And all my friends, like that I'd met, that I did like first year engineering with, and through law school, like, you're crazy, man, because you were telling us you're going to do this,
and you actually did it,
and you said you followed through. So once I went to Legal Aid, I did what I needed to do to get on the panel. So I did that while I was at Legal Aid to get on the panel. And then obviously, I had to register a company, so I went through the whole ASIC process, and then I had to do a course with the Law Institute of Victoria, a business practice management course, which allows you to have a principal practice certificate, where you can run a law firm, so that they teach you all about sort of like how to run a legal practice, all the business risks, and sort of managing staff. And I did that course as well while I was at Legal Aid. So once I had those two things ready,
tools,
and then I started off at a mate's firm on Bank Place, Christopher McLennan. So he's prepared to give us a room, in his office, one of his office, and that's where we started off.
The firm in someone's small office.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's mad. Okay.
And I mean, and that's sort of, and I'd encourage, whether if you're in the law or whatever sort of area you're in, those friendships early on, and are really important,
Very important.
Those are the friends you're going to sort of rely on, to kickstart your business, they're going to be the friends, who sort of give you a platform to start off, whether it's an office, or whether it's a couple of clients to start off with, So those relationships really,
those relationships are very important from that point up until when obviously you start your own law firm, because you kind of keep those. You kind of keep those friendships, like.
Well, if I had to, so when the firm's ready to start, for me to get a commercial lease, I have to get someone as a guarantor, because I've never leased before, or I have to pay like a huge security deposit, so and I didn't those two things, or I didn't have at the time, so the fact that I had Chris McLennan, offering his office space for me to start off with, means I could pay him directly rent because it's his office and his practice.
Gotcha.
And I could work hard at his office for 2 to 3 months, to build up some cash flows, and generate some business activity and bank and bank statements.
Yeah.
And then use that, to now go actually get find a commercial lease and say, well, here's my business. Here's 3 months worth of bank statement. These are the cash flows. This demonstrates my capacity. To be able to take on a lease and have the money ready to pay the sort of the first 2 months or 3 months of rent and whatever the security deposit is while going as a guarantor on my own.
That's amazing. So obviously you've owned a law firm for such a long time now, and like how long are we because obviously
3 years now.
Okay, so you've owned a law firm for 3 years. Like obviously just owning something, even just for anything over 1 year, 2 years, and then you get to your third year, that's a massive achievement. So just walk us through, like, in terms of like just the business side of things, like obviously you're having to pay staff, because there's a lot of people in this world that want to start a business, whether it's a law firm, whether it's a financial company, an accountant, it doesn't matter what it is, right? Business is business. So what are some of the challenges it is to run a business, if you're able to let us know, like, or just let the audience know, people that are wanting to start businesses, what are kind of some of the hurdles that you've had to overcome?
I think managing staff,
managing
because and all the rest on you. So
it's all
it's your business, it's your practice, So it's when your employees can they can go to sleep at night, but you can't go to sleep at night if anything goes bust. So so you've really you've got to be on the ball, not only from perspective of managing staff, but also getting business, and doing the work properly, So because you got to be able to maintain cash flows, because if you've got employees, you've got staff, you got wages to pay, you got rent to pay, you got insurance to pay, you've got all these overheads, until to meet those sort of payments on a regular basis, it means you got to be able to generate work. So you got to be able, So it's from one thing I didn't touch on early on, but it's really if you should early on, whether like while you're at uni, you should really sort of be working those some networking skills, because that's where the business comes, because you can always find, I can always find lawyers to do the work, So like, one of my lawyers could leave today, I can find another lawyer tomorrow, but the work, that's where the different, if you can bring in work, or if that lawyer brings work and that lawyer leaves, and then I'm at a loss, But if that lawyer doesn't bring in any work and that lawyer leaves, well, that's fine. I can find another lawyer.
Yeah, you can find another lawyer to do his work. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So so it's your ability to generate
revenue, revenue.
So if you bring in clients and you bring in $2 million worth of work, and then you don't have to be the lawyer who sort of who does all who does actual work in the matter. You can hire lawyers to be able to do that, who've got the skills and the expertise, to actually to do the file work and do the advice, while you focus, on ensuring that the clients are happy and that business sort of keeps flowing in, from the relationships you have.
No, beautiful. Okay. Well, as we start to wrap this up, I just want to just before we do, I want to just you to kind of just advise or give any information out to anybody that is wanting to start a business, because you talk about networking, which networking is one of the biggest things that people need to be able to people need to be able to network in order for them to get business, but at the same time to keep the relationships. You talked about relationships a lot, especially when you're going through law school. Make sure that you stay connected to those same people that you studied with, because you never know who you're going to need in the future. Especially when you start a firm, you could bring certain people over to your law firm. There's many things that you've touched on, but what's one final advice piece that you're able to give to someone that, like you said, that is wanting to start a business and that is also wanting to create something for themselves that might be coming from overseas, in the same position as you, that has basically, has literally started from nothing, learnt another language, that determination, that drive. Are you able to kind of just give one final advice to somebody that might be going through that or just wanting to start any type of business?
Look, I think cultures are different, and it's the reason I do what I do, or I have my practice, and I get up every day and push, and push to do well, and push to sort of create opportunities for my staff, and those who work at the firm, and a better experience for my clients or customers. It's sort of its ability to look at my peers, and when I say my peers, I mean those within the profession, who are my age, whether they're Australian, or whether they're Anglo, or from other background, its ability to sort of look at them, and say, well, if they can do it, so can I, and that sort of mindset comes from going back home, or just from my own sort of cultural sort of practice,
got you.
Like as a dinka, that you sort of you can't be left, you can't be left behind by your peers, you've got to really, you can't let the slack, if your peers are pushing, you push,
you have to keep, you have to find that,
and that's, and I think that's why I don't see it's sort of like being South Sudanese or being different, being African.
It doesn't matter where you're from.
I don't see that as an obstacle, because I'm just like, well, if Nick, my mate, can do it,
then why can't I do it?
I'm Daniel,
This guy said, I'm Daniel. I'm Daniel. I feel you, man. I'm Daniel.
So I think if you're young, African, or person of color, female, male, you should look at the person, like sitting next to you, in class, at your office, next to your desk, If that person, is gunning, for the CEO role, or for the next director role, or for the next business venture, but why aren't you pushing?
Why aren't you pushing? So just basically use people's fuel.
Like why aren't you pushing? You're the same. I mean, like you might not have the same privilege when you were born. But you've got the same skill set. You're the same table with them.
That is actually, that's 100% true. That's 100% true. Daniel, look, man, all I can say is that, look, I'm very happy with a lot of the stuff that you do. I always say, man, I look up to you in many ways. Just your determination, your drive, our conversations, always pushing me. I push you, and I'm so grateful to have you on this platform, especially to express a lot of the stuff, or just, to give people your story, because a lot of people need to hear these things in order for them to be fueled. And you never know what this story might do. It could change somebody's life that maybe was in the same position as you and trying to figure out, how can I do something? What can I do? Obviously I feel like I'm in a dark hole, and I feel like this episode and your story will be able to change somebody's life. So honestly, I want to say thank you very much for being on Black Wealth Connect. I really appreciate it. And any final words, man, before we wrap up?
Well, it's
I love your jacket, by the way, too. But yeah, I'll leave it to you, man.
Black Wealth, mate.
Black Wealth. Any final words, brother?
Well, it's I mean, I can't control what others do, but I've got control over what I do, So it means I've got control over whether my business fails or whether it succeeds, So every one of us, you've got control, like over whether your business or your dreams or your goals to have a business, whether those dreams sort of becomes into reality, me and you don't, like we've got no control over whether they can sort of action that dream or chase that business goal, but they do. So I encourage the listeners, you've got control over of what you can't control what others do, but you can control whether you get up in the morning or you lock onto ASIC and you register that company and just give it a go.
Give it a go, No, awesome, man. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much for being on Black Wealth Connect, man. Really appreciate you.